Remember the thrill of walking into a giant department store? The smell of popcorn at the mall entrance? Stacks of colorful toys reaching the ceiling? For decades, these experiences were woven into the fabric of our lives. Giant retail chains weren't just places to shop, they were destinations, community hubs, titans of the economy. Sears, Toys R Us, Blockbuster, JCPenney, Bed Bath & Beyond, Borders, Radio Shack. These names echo like ghosts in the retail landscape. Familiar landmarks that once seemed permanent fixtures on our high streets and in our malls are vanishing, leaving behind empty shells and questions. What happened? How did these giants, these seemingly invincible empires of commerce, crumble? Was it a slow decline or a sudden catastrophic collapse? This isn't just a story about bankruptcies and closing sales. It's a story about seismic shifts in how we live, shop, and connect. It's about technology, debt, changing tastes, and sometimes sheer mismanagement. Today, we're diving deep into the dramatic collapse of major retail chains, the phenomenon often called the retail apocalypse. Let's rewind a bit. Think back to the golden age of brick-and-mortar retail. Department stores like Sears weren't just stores, they were institutions. Their catalogs were wish books, their stores anchors for sprawling new suburban malls. Malls themselves were the modern town square. Places to meet friends, catch a movie, grab a bite, and of course, shop. Specialty chains carved out their niches. Toys R Us was a wonderland for kids, a brightly lit labyrinth of every toy imaginable. Blockbuster was the king of Friday night, the gatekeeper to cinematic adventures. Radio Shack was the go-to for gadgets and electronic parts. Circuit City and CompUSA battled for dominance in consumer electronics. These companies perfected the art of mass merchandising. They leveraged economies of scale, built vast supply chains, and employed hundreds of thousands of people. They seemed too big, too ingrained in our culture to ever truly fail. For a long time, their dominance felt absolute. Then came the whispers. The dial-up screech. The World Wide Web. In the mid-90s, a company named Amazon started selling books online. Few could have predicted the earthquake that was about to follow. E-commerce wasn't an overnight killer. It started slowly. Convenience was the first hook. Why drive to a bookstore when a few clicks could bring a book to your door? Then came selection. Online retailers weren't limited by shelf space. They could offer an almost infinite catalog. Price became the next battleground. Online players often had lower overheads, no expensive mall rents, fewer salespeople. They passed savings on to consumers. Price comparison became effortless. Suddenly, the physical store needed to offer more than just the product. It needed to justify its existence. Many established chains were slow to react. They saw the internet as a novelty, a small side channel, not the fundamental threat it would become. Their websites were often clunky afterthoughts, not integrated into their core business. They were analog giants in a rapidly digitizing world. Blockbuster famously had a chance to buy Netflix early on and laughed it off. A fatal mistake. But the rise of the internet is only part of the story. Another silent killer stalked the retail landscape. Debt. Starting in the 2000s, a wave of leveraged buyouts swept through the retail sector. Private equity firms saw value in these established brands. They'd borrow huge sums of money to buy the company, using the company's own assets as collateral. The plan was often to streamline operations, cut costs, and then sell the company off for a profit or take it public again. This loaded retailers with crippling debt burdens, just as they needed cash to invest, to upgrade stores, build e-commerce platforms, and adapt to changing consumer tastes. Instead of innovating, they were servicing massive interest payments. Toys R Us is a prime example. Saddled with billions in debt from a leveraged buyout, it simply didn't have the financial flexibility to compete effectively with Amazon and discount retailers like Walmart and Target. Every dollar spent on interest was a dollar not spent on improving the customer experience or lowering prices. When sales faltered, the debt became an anchor, pulling the entire company under. Sears, too, struggled under financial engineering and years of underinvestment orchestrated by its hedge fund owner, Eddie Lampert. Assets were sold off, stores deteriorated, and the brand equity built over a century evaporated. The focus shifted from retail excellence to financial maneuvering, and the customers noticed. Beyond debt and digital disruption, many chains simply failed to keep up with the customer. Tastes changed. Experiences started to matter more than just transactions. Malls, once vibrant centers, began to feel dated. Department stores, with their endless racks and often indifferent service, lost their appeal compared to curated online experiences or the treasure hunt excitement of discount retailers like TJ Maxx or Ross. Consumers armed with smartphones could instantly compare prices, read reviews, and find alternatives. Showrooming browse in-store but buying online became rampant. Retailers that didn't offer compelling reasons to buy right there, like unique products, expert advice, or a fantastic atmosphere, lost the sale. Think about Bed Bath & Beyond. For years, their main draw was the ubiquitous 20% off coupon and an overwhelming, almost chaotic amount of inventory. But the model grew stale. The stores felt cluttered, the online experience lagged, and competitors offered similar goods, often more conveniently or at lower prices without the coupon hunt. They lost their unique selling proposition. Failure to adapt wasn't just about technology, it was about understanding the evolving shopper. Millennials and Gen Z valued experiences, authenticity, and personalization, things many legacy chains struggled to deliver. The one-size-fits-all approach no longer worked. Competition also intensified and fragmented. It wasn't just Amazon. Fast fashion giants like Zara and H&M offered trendy apparel at low prices with rapid turnover, challenging traditional apparel retailers. Discount stores perfected lean operations, offering consistently low prices on everyday goods, eating into the market share of mid-tier players. And then came the rise of direct-to-consumer DTC brands. Companies born online, like Warby Parker for glasses or Casper for mattresses, bypassed traditional retail channels altogether. They built strong brand identities, controlled the customer experience from end to end, and used digital marketing to reach consumers directly, further chipping away at the dominance of established chains. If the retail landscape was already shaky, the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 acted as a massive accelerant. It was like pouring gasoline on a smoldering fire. Lockdowns forced non-essential stores to close for extended periods, decimating sales. Foot traffic evaporated overnight. This pushed consumers who were perhaps hesitant about online shopping fully into the digital realm. Habits formed during the pandemic: grocery delivery, online ordering for everything stuck. For retailers already teetering on the brink due to debt or declining relevance, the pandemic was the final blow. Chains like JCPenney, Neiman Marcus, J.Crew, and Guitar Center filed for bankruptcy protection during this period. The sudden loss of revenue exposed their underlying weaknesses, leaving them with no cushion. While some retailers adapted quickly, boosting their online capabilities and offering curbside pickup, those that were slow or financially constrained fell even further behind. The pandemic didn't necessarily create the retail apocalypse, but it dramatically sped up the timeline and widened the gap between the winners and losers. Let's look at some of these fallen giants more closely. Blockbuster, the quintessential example of failing to adapt. Dominant in video rentals, they dismissed the threat of Netflix's DVD by mail service and later streaming. Their late fee model alienated customers, and their refusal to pivot sealed their fate. Toys R Us, crushed by debt from its LBO and intense competition from Walmart, Target, and Amazon. They failed to create a compelling in-store experience or a competitive online presence until it was too late. A beloved brand but a broken business model. Sears, a slow, painful decline spanning decades. Once the largest retailer in the world, it suffered from chronic underinvestment, confusing brand identity, trying to be everything to everyone, the rise of specialty competitors, and controversial financial management that prioritized asset stripping over retail fundamentals. Borders failed to embrace e-readers and online book sales early enough, allowing Amazon to dominate the space. They invested heavily in music CDs just as digital music took off. Strategic missteps and a failure to adapt to digital trends led to its demise. Circuit City competed head-to-head with Best Buy but made critical errors, like eliminating commissioned salespeople, which hurt customer service in a category where advice is often needed. Financial struggles and strong competition led to liquidation. Bed Bath & Beyond relied too heavily on coupons and a cluttered store experience, failed to build a strong private label offering or a seamless online-offline experience, losing ground to Target, Amazon, and home goods specialists. Fell victim to changing shopping habits and internal struggles. Each story is unique, yet common threads emerge. Resistance to change, crushing debt, failure to understand the modern consumer, and intense competitive pressure. The collapse of these giants isn't just a business story. It has profound human and community consequences. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have been lost, affecting individuals, families, and local economies. For many communities, especially smaller towns, the local mall or department store was a major employer and a source of tax revenue. Its closure can create a ripple effect, hurting nearby businesses and leaving a significant void in the community fabric. There's also a nostalgic loss. These were places where generations made memories. Their disappearance changes the physical and social landscape of our towns and cities. So is brick-and-mortar retail dead? Absolutely not. But it has fundamentally changed. The era of the massive, generic, do-everything chain dominating the landscape is largely over. What's emerging in its place? A more diverse, dynamic, and demanding retail environment. Omnichannel is key. Successful retailers seamlessly blend their physical and digital operations. Buy online, pick up in-store, easy returns regardless of purchase channel, personalized online offers based on in-store behavior. This is the new standard. Target and Walmart are examples of legacy retailers who invested heavily and adapted successfully. Experience is paramount. Physical stores need to offer something online can't. This could be expert advice, community events, personalized service, unique workshops, or simply a beautifully designed, engaging atmosphere. Think Apple stores, Sephora, or smaller boutiques that offer curation and a personal touch. Niche and specialization. Smaller, focused retailers catering to specific interests or demographics are thriving. They offer expertise and curated selections that larger chains struggle to match. Technology integration. AI for personalized recommendations, smart fitting rooms, streamlined checkout processes, using data to optimize inventory and predict trends. Technology is crucial for efficiency and enhancing the customer experience. Sustainability and values. Increasingly, consumers care about the environmental and ethical practices of the brands they support. Retailers that align with these values can build strong customer loyalty. The rise of discount and off-price. Retailers offering value and a treasure hunt experience continue to perform well, appealing to budget-conscious consumers. The future likely involves fewer but better physical stores. Stores that serve as showrooms, fulfillment hubs, and experience centers, tightly integrated with a robust digital presence. Malls are being reimagined as mixed-use spaces with apartments, offices, entertainment, and dining alongside retail. The collapse of major retail chains is a complex story with no single villain. It was a perfect storm of technological disruption, shifting consumer behavior, mountains of debt, fierce competition, and strategic missteps. The giants that fell were often too slow, too indebted, or too disconnected from their customers to navigate the storm. It serves as a stark reminder that in the fast-paced world of modern commerce, size and history are no guarantee of survival. Adaptability, customer focus, and financial prudence are paramount. The retail landscape continues to evolve at lightning speed. What we see today might look completely different in another decade. The stores we currently frequent need to learn the hard lessons from the ghosts of retail past if they hope to avoid a similar fate. What are your memories of these fallen retail giants? Which closure surprised you the most? And what do you think the future of shopping looks like? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this look into the retail apocalypse interesting, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.